because that's all we were written for, but we will have the 5 red lights on here in May Mystery Month, round 2, as Star will lead the field away with Neil Gio on the inside of Star. Can Star keep the lead into turn 1? He does just that. Brilliant start there for the Mercedes, but it goes wide, opens the door to Neil Gio, and Neil straight through into P1 as Star goes wide. As we head through turn 2, and someone sent it very deep. It was LTJ Ellis. Sent it very deep into turn 2 and caused major contact with some of the drivers, as there's damage for D. Sommers already here on lap 1. As D. Sommers now around the outside of Ginger, and into the rear goes Ellis of D. Sommers, and damage for several of the drivers as Ellis into the wall and leaves himself vulnerable, as Star already coming in here on lap 1 to get off the softs. Interesting strategy. Very interesting strategy. He wants to get his pit stops out of the way, and Neil leads here on lap 1 ahead of Akko. Akko will still have DRS now, but Star immediately onto the wet tyres here on lap 1. Cthulhu onto the wet tyres as well. D. Sommers fixing his front wing and onto the wet tyres as well. Hopefully he realises the Williams ahead has absolutely no front wing and will have lost a lot of downforce here. Scone's going to go on the inside of the Williams now. And Kevin Cal also looking to get past the Williams, as the Williams probably going to come in now for a new front wing, and I wonder what tyres will Ginger go on to. So Star has already gotten his wet tyre strategies out of the way. Very smart from Star. Chaotic race so far. Kenzie Young on the inside of Crossgraves. Akko pulls the undercut and nail, as Kenzie Young going to get ahead. Meanwhile, the lanky one may lose out to Ultra Titan. And Star now in for dry tyres. Star will be dry tyres to the end. Meanwhile, Kenzie Young all over the rear of Crossgrave. Yellow flag. Who's that? It's Scones. Scones has gone deep into turn 2. Oh, and he's breaking his front wing potentially on the wall there as he's trying to rejoin. I wonder if there's any damage on that Ferrari strategy. Meanwhile, a yellow flag out. Cthulhu retired, and that's a safety car. That is a safety car. Where's Cthulhu? Cthulhu out at turn 11. Akko could be in a good place, but where does Star emerge after the pit stops is key, because Star only has 1 pit stop remaining, and Star going to exit now. Where is he going to exit though? Where's Kenzie Young? As they're side-by-side eggs in the box, Kenzie Young exits 1 position ahead of Star, but Kenzie Young out in the softs. Let's have a look now. Kenzie Young has to do 2 more pit stops. He's going to go enter. I don't know if that was the right strategy. He's going to do enter and medium. Meanwhile, Star only has to do mediums now. Crossgrade pit for hards right now. Same with the lanky one. Same with Ollie Bean. Ollie Bean did 2 wets. What is he doing? Ginger and D. Sommers have already gotten all their pit stops out of the way so they can go to the end. A reminder, Kenzie, Star, Neil, Ultra, Kevin and Scones all still need a box, as Kevin Cal going to get ahead of Ultra Titan on these soft tyres now. So, a bit of a calamity from LTJ Ellis. Meanwhile, around the outside, Scones on Ultra Titan. Scones into the wall. Crossgrade on the outside of Ultra Titan as they head into the hairpin of the chicane. Ultra with a lovely switchback. My lord, what a switchback. Dear lord, what a switchback from Ultra Titan in the Williams. As a little bit of wheel banging, they head into the castle section. The lanky one watching this along as Crossgrade gets ahead of Ultra Titan. A reminder, Crossgrade's done all of his mandatory pit stops. Meanwhile, Ultra needs to box again. Don't go on the inside there! As Crossgrade's got damage in the front left end plate. Ultra on the inside of Crossgrade. Crossgrade goes deep though. Ultra clunks the inside curb. The lanky one all over the rear of Ultra Titan now as they head into the final corner. Scones now trying to find a way through on the lanky one. Star now potentially going to get through into the lead of the race on Kenzie Young now. Neil may even look for a move through as we're 3 wide. 3 wide into turn 1. Neil around the outside of Star. Neil dives it into turn 1 ahead of both Mercedes. What a move from Neil in the Aston Martin. Has got all of his mandatory pit stops out of the way as Ultra Titan in the wall at the castle section. And it's a safety car. Ultra Titan out at the castle section, and we've got 2 victims out at the castle section, which will help Star, Neil and Kenzie Young get all their pit stops out of the way along with Kevin Cal. As the lanky one seems to have made a mistake out of castle, and Echo has dropped the hammer. Crossgrey on the inside of the lanky one, risky move to go for. And Neil on the inside of Crossgrey. Crossgrey still has that front left end plate damage, you gotta remember. As the lanky one and Crossgrey both go deep, Neil now make it through into the final corner ahead of Crossgrey now. Neil into P3. Can Star get through on the outside of Kevin Cal? Star getting straight through ahead as the DRS now enabled. D Summers swapping with Scones down the main straight. Meanwhile, Neil trying to find a way through on the lanky one. As thank you for the follow in the chat, Daniel Richards, welcome into the stream. But we got Neil now on the rear of the lanky one. Can Neil find a way through as he deploys the DRS? Going to get straight through comfortably on the lanky one. Can Crossgrey catch the lanky one? A reminder, Crossgrey still holding on to that damage. And with DRS, Neil now may get into the lead of the race ahead of Echo, as Star getting ahead of Crossgrey. Star on the outside of the lanky one into turn 1. What a blindingly... Oh my lord! I was about to say what a blinding overtake, but he went far too deep into turn 1. And Star's lost out 2 positions and lost himself a heap of time as well. On top of that, meanwhile, Star switches to the inside of the lanky one. It's 3 wide now, down into turn 3. A Star on the inside of the lanky one, side by side they go. And the lanky one going to keep it ahead of Star now. Oh, it's on around the outside. Star still there, trying to now out-drag the lanky one through the middle sector, and he does just that. Star does get ahead. Kenzie Young on the rear of Kevin Kell, who's also on the rear of the lanky one as we head down into turn 1. Kenzie Young gets ahead of Kevin Kell. Can Kenzie Young also get ahead of the lanky one into turn 1? He does just that. Kenzie Young in the Mercedes down into turn 1 into P5. But into the wall goes Kenzie Young. The lanky one now looking back on the inside of turn 2. The lanky one on the inside of Kenzie. Which of them has DRS though? The lanky one has DRS on the Mercedes, so the lanky one may stay ahead of Kenzie Young now. As Kenzie Young now looking on the rear of the Sauber, and Kenzie Young going to get ahead of the Sauber. And hopefully this time, for Kenzie's sake, he can keep it clean through turn 1, and he does just that. Meanwhile, Kevin Kell now on the rear of the lanky one. Can Kevin Kell get in to P6 now as he picks the outside of the Sauber as they head side by side into turn 1, and Kevin Kell gets straight ahead of the lanky one. Unfortunately, with his drive through, not a lot he can do. Echo's out! Echo's into the wall! Echo's out! At Castle! I don't believe it! Echo's out of Castle! Echo, who was paid to, crashes at Castle! And that's the McLaren out! I don't believe it! And we've got a safety car on lap 20 here! Echo in the chat says, I am stupid, and he is the 3rd driver to crash at the I am stupid corner. On the outside of Kenzie Young. Kenzie looking to still defend from the Mercedes. Oh, and, Kenzie almost puts Neil in the wall. Neil trying to get round the outside of Kenzie. Kenzie still trying to defend on the outside here, but can't find a way back through again on Neil, as Neil already has made a position up. As D Sommers on the rear of Scones now. D Sommers on these soft tyres, gonna get ahead of Scones as the lanky one on the inside of Scones as well. The lanky one gonna try and get through on D Sommers as well as he picks the outside. Oh, he goes into the rear of D Sommers, and that's damage for the lanky one as Scones back down the inside of the lanky one, as the lanky one loses an end plate. Side by side goes Scones on the penultimate lap as lanky one gets ahead of D Sommers as they head side by side into the castle section now. Can D Sommers get ahead of the lanky one? Side by side they go, so slow as Scones has contact. Ginger runs into the rear of Scones as they all check up. Meanwhile, Star may even be looking to let Neil through now, as Crossgrey trying to find a way through on Neil. As Star What is he doing? There's a lot of antics going on here. A lot of antics as Kenzie's going to dive it through on Crossgrey and on the outside of Neil. Kenzie now, it's a drag race between him and Neil. Down the straight, the antics have royally come out here as we head now on to the final lap. Kenzie Young's on the inside of Neil as they head now into turn 1. Storgan look to defend the inside. On Neil, Neil dives around the outside. Crossgrey comes into contact with Kenzie Young as he tries to dive it through on the inside. Star on the inside of Neil, side by side. They go through turn 2, and Star's around with contact with Neil. Kenzie's around, contact with Star. I don't believe it. Kevin Call's up into P2 on the final lap here. My lord, what carnage on the final lap. Absolute carnage as Ginger gets ahead Ollie Bean. Ginger, what is he doing? What was that? What was that? Why is his car still moving? What are we watching?
Wait, what's your fast stop when you get Johnson on the straight?
Bro, this guy's insane! He's just teleporting everywhere! Ah!
If you get a chance to check, can you tell me your fast stop?
Oh, bruv. Oh, shit!
Wait, he's got out. Are you good? Are you good? Okay, you'll still win. Okay, even Arrow is.
As on the final lap, Neil Guillot will win here in Baku. Ahead of Kevin Cal as Crossgrey in a drag race with Star. Crossgrey will get P3 as the lanky one gets D Summers at the line. The lanky one gets P5, finishing ahead of D Summers in a drag race. What a result for Crossgrey there, getting a podium on the final lap with damage on those old hards. Ridiculous scenes from Crossgrey. And Star finishes P4 as the lanky one gets D Summers in a drag race to the line, a photo finish. The lanky one finishes P5 ahead of D Summers now. And as Patricia in the chat says, and breathe.